the fact that you go to Holiday Inn, all the cleaners and the management staff and everyone else is Shona.
In Baloyi.
You understand what I'm saying? They are being denied opportunities because of tribalism.
Yeah.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And what is there to stop? And we can say, hey, hi, you go be Zimbabwe. Hey, Zimbabwe is getting worse and worse and worse. And it's just.
But are you ready? I am ready. Don't keep me waiting. I'm okay. I'm just minutes away. You can come any day. You can come and we pray.
Okay. Welcome to the ByoPodcast Ingxoxo99 with your host Mgcini, Nhlamulo. Guest co-host today we have Jahalezansi.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
Izinja. Hey.
Yabonga lo King Queen Nonsie. Ole. Today, guys, we have a special guest.
Very special.
Not even a small guest, but a very usual.
The authority.
Ziyakhala.
The authority.
All the way from
Johannesburg.
Johannesburg.
JHB.
Like sounds.
From Sentin, the richest square mile in Africa.
That's what I'm talking about.
2191.
Okay, that's the area code.
Mr. Lavita NOTA.
Hola.
How are you doing? Just keep on. You said you don't like how the way people are not confident when they speak their language. So just keep on.
No, I'm good, man. I'm none.
You sweet.
I'm sweet.
Also,
yeah. No.
Besides, when a person says "ni sweet,"
Oh,
they
Ngiswi.
mean I'm okay.
Oh, I know
Like
Ngiswi.
Yeah,
Ngiswi. No, you need to teach me. That's the thing. It's not that I don't like when the other people. I hate being denied education and learning. I like to be informed.
Yeah.
So when I feel like people are hiding information from me, you know, like you guys are shy. It's like, oh, you don't want to.
So is it your first time in Baloyi, Zimbabwe?
It's my first time in Zimbabwe.
Oh. So now, how did the Lobola negotiations take place? Like
On Google Meets.
oh, technology.
Yeah.
Okay.
They will all like Google Meets.
How's your color?
Yeah. The Lobola negotiations happened from No, there was no one that was in Zim. UK, New Zealand, and South Africa.
I think it's important for context. Lobola in who? You know,
We'll get to that.
might not know.
We'll get to that. Don't worry.
They'll know.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So
Uza's Biza.
Okay,
She'll be in the
comment section.
Or
The
she'll
comment
be
section
or she'll
below.
be here.
Yeah, soon.
One of these days you'll invite her.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
invited one of her friends. The last episode I saw of you guys.
So how does the name La Vida NOTA come about?
It comes from La Vida Loca,
Okay.
which is the crazy life,
We live in La Vida Loca.
and La Vida Nota is the life of Nota. So basically, if you follow me on my social media, you get exposed to the life of Nota. And Nota comes from, my initials are NB, which is Nota Bena,
Okay.
right? So I used to rap under the name Take Note,
Okay.
right? Because NB stands for Note Well or Nota Bena, right? And then with the weight of the world on my shoulder, that's why they call me Hova. I'm far from being God, but I work God damn hard. So that's
Yes,
Jay-Z.
sir.
So I decided, I want to be my own Jay-Z of sorts, you know, my own Puff Daddy of sorts. So I decided to call myself Nota because it rhymes with Hova.
So you were born in Uganda, right?
No. I was born in Johannesburg.
One in Johannesburg.
Born in Johannesburg.
So was my mother.
Okay. So how is it like growing up in Johannesburg?
Look, my bloodline comes from Tanzania. The Baloyi clan. You understand? Us Tsonga people, we originate from Tanzania, but we migrated to southern Africa, from East Africa. In the, in the 16th century, 1500s. So that's why the East African connect is there. But I mean, also you guys, you're Nguni, so Ngunis also come from East Africa originally.
And develop people.
All of Ngunis.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because Swahili is also Nguni.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. So, you know, all of us have, as people, have migrated throughout the lands. So I was born in Johannesburg on the 20th of March 1990.
So
Which-
98.
So, which is just after Nelson Mandela was released from prison on the 11th of February 1990, and after the unbanning of the African National Congress. And my parents had been praying for a son, so they called me Nhlamulo, which means answer, or Mbendulo. I was the answer to their prayers.
Amen to that.
Yeah,
Hallelujah.
yeah.
So, first of all, congratulations. We saw you posted on your social media that you were celebrating a year of marriage with your...
Oh, when was this? Yeah,
Sometime
with
last
your-
year.
last year in in
August.
July,
Yeah, with
26th
your,
of July. Yeah.
so it's been a year and some months now.
Well, I mean, that's a year since my lobola, yes.
Okay.
Right? But since I was legally married on the 10th of May last year, so I'm only celebrating a year of being legally married in May this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how do you...
But thank you, yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
So,
you.
how did you meet your
My
lovely
wife.
Berita, by the way.
Yes, well, her name is actually Dudula Kumalo.
Or
Ber-
Berita is a stage name.
Is her mother's name.
Oh,
Which becomes her stage name as well.
Yeah.
okay. That's nice.
So yeah, and it's actually quite a common name here in Zim. I was in the queue to withdraw some money, and I heard someone screaming Berita, and I was like, "Eh?"
Yeah.
So I was like, "Huh?"
Ufuna Ndula.
I was like, "Oh, Mama's that." Can't you know? It's a young lady. So how did we meet? Well, the first time I met her, I guess we were at a show. That was the first time I met her, but
On the
that was a long
road.
time ago. Yeah, I know. I was at a show. I was there I was at a show. I was with AKA, and he was performing, and she was backstage because they were under the same management company at the time. And that's the first time we met. We were like, "Hey, hi, how are you?" But we didn't really speak then. She was spoken for at that point in time. And then we officially met afterwards because a lot of people had been. I hired her former sound engineer to engineer for the Questa band.
Okay.
And you know, he had been saying, "Yo, I need you to meet this lady. You know, she needs just some advice or some counseling as far as her career goes, and I think that you'll be able to help her."
She was just getting started.
No,
She had been in the game.
She's been in the game.
Wow.
She's been in the game since 2012, so this is her 10th year in the game.
And
You know.
when was this when you guys met?
Sure, I can't remember which year when we properly met. I can't remember, but it was probably maybe 2017 or so,
Okay.
or probably 2017, 2016.
Right.
And so we met backstage at a show, and he said, "No, we'll meet again." My engineer introduced us properly, formally, and then the next time I bumped into her, she was in studio with Black Motion. This was when we were still recording the Part 2 album, and we had songs with Black Motion. It didn't make the album, but we made a lot of songs. There are a lot of people that didn't make the album.
What was the reasons behind the song?
No, it just didn't make the album. No, we ended up just doing a collaboration that we ended up doing for 5FM Mash Lab.
Okay.
With a brand called Sony Ericsson, and they basically paid us for that collaboration, and we shot a music video for it. So there's a Questa music video with Black Motion as well, and another artist who won a competition to be the vocalist on that song. So in the midst of that, she was there. I think we chatted for a while, and then there was nothing much to it. And then another friend who was like my musical advisor and her musical director, Banda, then said, hey man, please, I need you to meet this young lady, and she needs some career advice and stuff like that. So he brought her to my house, to my apartment at the time, and basically what I said to her is that I didn't like speak to you the last time I saw you, but the last time I saw her was when she was doing Coca-Cola. I forgot what it was called, but it's some collab thing with Younger Chief, and we were doing a song, and I was there, but she doesn't remember me being there.
Studio. Maybe?
Yeah, Coke Studio. Yes, Coke Studio. And then I was like, you don't remember me being there from Coke? I even went to the cupboard. I said, this is the T-shirt. Coke Studio. No, it's the Coca-Cola. I even from that T-shirt. Like, I was like, well, you recorded. You were there. The song is there. So the evidence that I was there. And I lived with Younger at that point in time, and here he is.
Younger Chief.
He's right here. You know what I mean? So like, it's like you don't remember. So yeah. But anyway, she remembers the first time we ever met. That's the first time, which for me was not really eventful because we didn't speak. And then from there, we just started speaking a lot, and I started advising her. She had just gone independent, started her own record label, Asali Music, and she was about to release her first independent single. Okay. So basically, I A&R'd that single. Like, she sent me a couple of songs, and she wanted me to pick which song could be a single. And I picked Mgcini Kiss.
So now, how does the relationship move from a more corporate business side to a romantic relationship?
Yeah, that's the thing. I was also surprised because I was like,
you're here for business.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
But how this person wants to spend a whole lot of time with me, even outside of business hours.
Yeah.
So what happened is that one day she called me on a weekend. This is just after Nhlamulo has been released, and when it was released, like the song was like just catching fire immediately, instantaneously. So she's like, okay, this person's got really good advice. So I was like, she's like, hey, I'm free right now. She called me, I'm free right now. I'm like, well, I'm not quite free right now, but you know what I'm doing? I'm going to a show, Presidential Suite, Orlando Pirates versus Kaizer Chiefs. You can come through.
So into debt.
You understand? Yeah. So then she's like, okay, no, cool. Then I took her there. We went there, and then we watched the Soweto Derby from the Presidential Suite, and I fed her oysters. And then afterwards, it's like, okay, our next show is in KZN. So we've got a choice to make. It's either we drop you off at home,
or we take you to KZN.
Or you drive with us. Fortunately, our guitarist is not here, so there's an extra room.
Sure.
So you can be comfortable if you want to come through. So she's like, no, let's go. We go. I can see, no man, this person is like, you know what I mean? No, as Kalanga, because for me it's like, she came on some business tip, and I've been in the business for a long time, working with a whole lot of female artists.
At that point, do you have any intentions of taking things
no,
other way? Or do you
think
she
way.
has intentions?
No, there's no way I could have intentions, because like, for me, this person was introduced to me as in someone who's trying to...
So I want it next when it's just business for you at this point.
There's no way I would see anything, because for me it's like it's normal business. It's like you, if you want to be an artist and you need advice from me, you know what I mean? I'm not going to see more into that. There's no way unless you say, hey
Mara, we're chilling at the presidential suite, in fact. Outside.
For me it's normal.
Maybe
for me it's normal. So anyway,
did you like her?
So anyway, I wouldn't say, like, for me, like, I wasn't even in that mode. I wasn't looking, and like I was saying earlier, I used to have dreads. I was like anti-vanity. I wasn't trying to get the attention of any woman. I didn't think any woman would look at me and think, oh, this guy is attractive, you know what I mean? Or find me attractive. So yeah, and then after that, we went to the place where we were sleeping, right? So after the show, this is after the performance, the rest of the guys, they wanted to stay at the gig, and the gig is like 40 kilometers away from where we're sleeping. The gig was in Dundee, and then our accommodation was in Newcastle. So I spoke to the promoter, or the guy who owns the venue, and I said, please take your V-Class and borrow it to my boys. I'm tired. I want to go sleep, right? So I took our piano,
The fucking car.
Yeah, I gave the fucking car to the fucking boys, and I took the piano, and we drove back to the accommodation. I wanted to also be able to collect the keys before it becomes too late. You know what I mean? Because we hadn't even checked into the place we were staying. So clean, helped her to a room, went to my room. Cool. You know what I mean? Woke up in the morning, went to the shops, knocked on her door, said, hey, I bought you a toothbrush, here's toothpaste, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There you go, and here's some clothes, as well, because obviously I packed extra clothes. Yeah, no, I was just, being accommodative, and then, we sat and waited for the rest of the boys to wake up, because they obviously got in the early hours of the morning, and I was just reading newspapers with her. And then, went back. Didn't really think too much about it, but we stayed in contact, stayed in touch, and there was a friend of mine who, when she'd call me, bro, do you know what time it is? It's like 10 p.m. bro. Any woman who's calling you after 10 p.m, come on, say, can you not see?
Like, nah, read the signs.
It's true. Yeah. So after 10, they're calm.
It's like, dog, you guys have been talking for an hour. What could she want? What advice could you give her at this time?
And when at that point, you're still thinking, no, it's business.
I'm not thinking. I'm just doing. You know what I mean? This is business. You know what I mean? I'm just being myself. And then I was like, because my friend has now planted the seed that no, man. So then I was like,
you start seeing them.
I just said, let me invite her for lunch and see if she wants to go for lunch. So I asked some of my lady friends, I said, do you think this girl might like it? Of course. They've been saying, yeah. I'm like, why haven't you guys told me this whole entire time? Like, how? We thought you could see, how you can't see. I said, let me invite her for lunch. So I was like, okay, no, you've been calling me and everything else, and I've been giving you professional advice, but I want to know if there's something more that you see in me, and if we should get to know each other on a more interpersonal level. And then after that lunch, she's like, yeah, no, we'd like to get to know each other. And then Valentine's Day was coming up, so I was like, there's no way I'm going to get into something, and now all of a sudden I have to buy gifts. So then I said, you know what, I'm gonna postpone it. I'm gonna postpone it.
Okay,
wait for Valentine's
to pass.
Exactly, yeah.
So either way, she was on tour. She was doing an Nhlamulo Kiss promo tour. As soon as she came back from that promo tour, on her way to the promo tour, I said, no, I'll drop you off at the airport, because that's the day we had lunch, on her way to the promo tour. I said, no, don't worry about an Uber, I'll drop you off at the airport. I dropped her off at the airport, clean, sharp, and I said, it's fine. When you get back on Monday, I'll pick you up as well. And then on that Monday, it was the 18th of February.
Valentine is over now.
And then on that day, I picked her up from the airport, and then I was like, yeah, you've been singing about a kiss.
Yeah.
No,
I
heard. I heard, and there you go.
So you kiss?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That is it.
So fast forward, NOTA is always trending. NOTA is always trending on Twitter. People saying all the negative stuff about you. Does that affect your relationship with her in any way?
Look, for me, it wasn't really about people saying negative stuff. It was like, people I'd done so much for were attacking me and slandering my name. So it affected me personally.
Right.
And when something affects me personally, it affects the person I am at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for her, I guess she got to see people's true colors. And the most unfortunate thing is that, she also got to see that, these are people that you've done so much for. and this is how they're slandering you and stuff like that. So yeah, obviously, she got very angry at that, and she even said, please stop, posting about me or whatever, you know what I mean?
So then how do you overcome all this negativity on social media? Because it's not ending.
It's ended.
It's ended.
I've deleted my social media apps.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're no longer on...
Nah, you see, it was for a purpose. Like I said, everything
your
is a game.
accounts are still up, but you don't have the apps when a person.
Yeah, I deleted the apps,
Yeah.
so I don't need to compulsively go to the apps.
Right.
But I mean, I don't need it anymore. You switch off social media, people still know who NOTA is.
Right, that's true.
And we're here
You know?
today.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the most important thing. It served its purpose. I was able to defend myself against my enemies, and I was able to, also shape the minds of a lot of my followers and my fans. Yeah, so
That's nice. Ed Break, welcome back to another episode, another segment rather,
Yeah.
of the ByoPodcast Ingxoxo99, with a special guest by the name, is it NOTA or NOTA?
it's NOTA.
NOTA.
Yeah.
The authority.
Yeah.
The authority.
With an accent. Yeah, hey,
Yeah.
I'm
It needs to rhyme with Hova.
NOTA.
Yeah.
NOTA.
Yeah.
At first, when I saw your comment on our channel, I was convinced, which is no man, this is a catfish. Njani. But when I saw you reaching out, even on Instagram, I saw with money their color. So thank you very much for joining us. We
No,
really
thanks.
appreciate you coming here.
Yeah, I'm a fan of podcasts. I love podcasts. I'm always listening to podcasts. Like, people are always asking me, why do you have your earphones on? Because I'm listening to podcasts
Every time.
all the time.
Okay, so
There's not enough hours in a day to listen to all the interesting podcasts and all the interesting conversations that have been had.
moving on to the music side of
NOTA, yeah.
NOTA.
Yeah. But that's also why I have Beats by Dre. Because people send me demos all the time, so I can listen to them in high quality. They're better than just the normal AirPods, which don't have the proper noise cancellation. And also,
Give them feedback.
when you're running, they can fall out.
Right.
If you're traveling, I wonder how people like who are based in New York, where they have to take the subway train the whole time. Imagine you getting onto the train and you're rushing, and then your AirPods fall.
Ish.
It's a done deal.
You'll be buying AirPods every day.
Yeah.
So, what draws NOTA into the arts industry?
Like the music.
Specifically, the music side, yeah.
Yeah, I've always had like a childhood dream that one day I'll be like Puff Daddy. As kids you play act. Like, so if you're playing soccer, one of you is Romario, the other one's Ronaldo, the other one's Bebeto. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like now, it was me and my little brother, and like we had a passage in the house, and it looked like a Puff Daddy and Mace music video. You know Hype Williams, where he had women like that, the Berita, that channel where they did like that tunnel. So we'd reenact those music videos. My little brother would be Mace, I'd be Puffy. You know what I mean? And yeah, we'd reenact the music videos for More Money, More Problems, all that type of stuff. So like I always had that in my mind since a child. That one day when I grow up I'm gonna be Puff Daddy. And then I just decided that, I'm going to do it.
So, why hip hop? Why hip hop music?
Puff Daddy.
Puff Daddy.
That's it. I've said this before, but just to rehash it, I watched a movie where kids, like a skater movie, I think it was called Kids, where skater movies were wearing their pants baggy. So then, this was when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And then, when I got home, right, my mom said, show your dad what you saw them doing in the movie today. Like, yeah, they were wearing their pants like this underneath their underpants.
They were saying,
and then my dad is like, what is that nonsense? No, stop that.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, from now on I want to wear my pants like that.
Babulawa City drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I started
Sagging
dropping.
their pants.
So then my mother went to go and buy me a CD collection. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my mother went to go buy me a CD collection. I don't know why my phone is not on silent, but it is on silent, right?
Yeah, I think this
Clearly not.
No, it was on silent. So anyway, my mother bought me a CD collection, and then when she spoke to the guy at the counter, she says, "I want the music for the boys who wear their pants." Like that, and he's like, "Oh, hip hop." So then he gave her like some bad boy stuff, Puff Daddy, B.I.G. and all that stuff, and then that's where my love for the music started. And the reason why is because like back in those days they had singles, and the single would have the song itself, the radio edit, the a cappella, the instrumental.
Right.
So when I got to the instrumental, I realized that damn, I could now rap my own words.
Over those beats.
I can listen to that, I memorized it, so okay, fine, and then I could also improvise it and change it in my own way, and that's what I started doing. And then I realized that actually I was rapping,
Right.
and I was rapping my own words. I was creating my own stuff, and other than just memorizing. Like I've got a great memory bank of rhymes. You know what I mean? Like if you go through like hip hop history, if you ask me about Blueprint, Jay-Z, I can rap it from start to finish. Kanye West, College Dropout, rap it from start to finish.
Yeah.
Classic project.
Nas, Life is Good.
Uh-huh.
Nas, Still Medic, God's Son.
Uh-huh.
I can rap it from back to front. So yeah.
Right. I mean, talking about the music, at that point, hip hop in Africa or in South Africa is not that really mainstream. It's there. Some of it is underground. You've got like cats like Abo, Senyaka, Black Noise, Prophets of the City, Brassifani Cap.
You had Specs.
Yeah, I was Squatter Camp.
No,
Pitch
before
Black
that you had Specs.
I was Specs.
No, but that's my cousin.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, so his mother is my dad's big sister.
Uh-huh.
So I grew up around him.
So at that point, my question was to say, what relationship do you have with these acts at that point? Since
At that point in time, the first rapper to release a solo body of work project is my big cousin
Okay.
in South Africa.
Right.
The first person to have a hip-hop radio show in South Africa is my cousin.
Uh-huh.
So basically you could say that, my aunt and uncle are part of the first sponsors of South African hip-hop.
Uh-huh.
So, it's a family heirloom.
That's when it grows into this big movement that
Yeah.
that ends up becoming, because
So South African hip-hop was coined
right.
as Hizo, real Msawawa hip-hop for sure. That Specs is the
Uh-huh.
person who created that whole, it's a song. It's good.
What relations did it have to Kwaito music, which was an exclusively South African sound?
No, so Kwaito music has everything. Kwaito music was South Africa's hip hop.
Right.
If you listen to all the old Kwaito songs, it's translations of big hip hop songs. They translated the English raps or the English choruses into Thingamajig, just that they weren't as wordy. They were more focused on making catchy hooks and choruses because they weren't as lyrically gifted at that point in time. You know what I mean?
Bringing out those bars.
Yeah, but
Pela
over
Kwaito.
time. But if you look at guys like TKZ, they were rapping. You know what I mean?
They start to get into
Because
the
you
game.
find the Kwaito song 5 minutes. Ibizemoyeni throughout.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the thing, and that was part of our musical culture. So unfortunately, because of the connotations, a lot of people thought, no, this hip hop thing is very American, and there were people there were purists who wanted to give South African hip hop a more like a Puritan feel, like they wanted it to sound like the hip hop that comes from New York.
Yeah.
Whereas other people were willing to merge it with South African sounds and lingo, like Hizo,
Right.
real Msawawa hip hop for sure. Msawawa is South Africa.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, I guess, I was an inductee from a very young age, and it's part of my cultural heritage to actually carry Msawa hip hop to other shores, and that's what I was able to do. I think that was like my role in South African hip hop, was to actually make South African hip hop something that can have a voice for itself outside of South Africa.
Okay.
And it does now. Amapiano is South African hip hop.
For sure.
So can you say you are the one that founded SA hip hop?
Nah,
SA.
not like Specs is the guy. The real Msawawa hip hop for sure. Kizo, right? But now to make it something that is a business thing, that is commercially viable, that actually makes money,
Puts food on people's table.
well, it makes people generationally wealthy, because lots of things put food on people's table. Even begging at the traffic lights can put food on your table.
Creating generational wealth.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could say from a music perspective, like to have like generational anthems in South African hip hop. I'm the producer of South African hip hop's biggest songs,
Okay.
and South African music's best-selling songs as well.
You're the producer.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you say that, it's quite interesting to me, because how I personally listen to hip hop, SA hip hop. That whole move, when it moves from like like a subgenre or whatever to the mainstream, where we like a kid from Baloyi here is relating to songs. That whole era, 2007 maybe to 2015. I feel like it was a very definitive time for SA hip hop. And it elevated it not only in Africa but to a global stage. You have SA hip hop acts being nominated for like international awards. What do you think about SA hip hop, the movement at that point
What about
in time?
winning?
And winning as well.
WHP won an MTV EMA award.
Exactly my point. So what do you think about the movement elevated it to that level at that point in time? What were
The fact that it was authentically South African. That was the thing about the whole Northwest Motswako movement,
Right.
HP and all of them, is that they actually merged South African hip hop and the Kwaito sound.
made it theirs?
And that's why WHP was the first, South African hip hop artist to win an international award like an MTV EMA. That's basically what it was.
So it was the originality.
That's it.
Okay, so now coming back to Bulawayo, rating Bulawayo out of 10.
Hip hop
Hip-hop-wise, yeah.
I have not heard any Wabulawayo hip hop at all.
Not at all?
Nothing.
Not even our here.
Oh yeah, but she's based in Germany.
She's a liar girl.
Yeah, but she's based in Germany. Her whole entire career is based in Germany. Her producer is Ghanaian stallion from Ghana.
Yeah.
So like her management team, she's and also her content, if she was a man, she'd be being beaten by metal flogs because of her content. She raps about Kukarahundi and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Which you guys are even scared to talk about.
No, we'll get to that part.
I'm just saying.
So you haven't had any like hip hop acts from the city? ASAP, no?
So
That
like
sounded ring a bell?
obviously our Kiwa is like but I mean she's not based in the city. I didn't meet her from the city, and yes, we're in contact.
What about ASAP?
Nah, I've never heard of
Okay,
her.
ASAP?
Nah.
He just got signed to Def Jam Africa.
Nah, what is that?
What is Def Jam Africa?
Def Jam, dog. Def Jam was a thing from the States. There's no such
Right.
thing as Def Jam Africa. Right? No, I'm just saying. It's
So
just a name. It's like, okay, an international company,
Branches off into Africa.
That's like KFC in Dubai.
you understand?
Like KFC Makokova.
So
You understand?
So you wouldn't rate them. You wouldn't rate Def Jam Africa.
It's not about rating them. It's just about like, what is the significance of that? You're telling me that someone got signed. How many records have you sold? Why are you celebrating the signing? The signing is you being chained. Kanye West was saying he's free. He's saying he's a free man. He was chained by Def Jam. You are celebrating being a slave to Def Jam.
But I think the context is different.
It's
though.
very the same.
You think so?
It's the same context. You're a slave. Pay us like you owe us for all the years that you hold us. We can talk, but money talks, so talk more. But H to the Izzo, V to the Izzo, N to the Izzo, T to the Izzo.
Okay.
Okay, so what advice would you give a hip hop artist from Bulawayo?
Come to
How
South
do they-
Africa. That's it.
Come to USA.
You know, I was watching Shasha. She was on CNN. She's like, yeah, no, I want to make kids from, what's it? Mutare.
Mutare, that's
Believe that they can make it. No, what she should have said is like, you need to come to South Africa if you want to make it. That's what she, well, that's what she did. What did Davido do to make it? He came to South Africa. What did Wizkid and Banky W do to make it?
And
He
Pina
came to
Boy,
South Africa.
Pina
What
Boy
did
as well.
Dibanj do to make it? He came to South Africa. What did Flavor do to make it? He came to South Africa.
So
What
you're
did
saying you're saying an
Go Pina
African
Boy,
act,
Pina
if you want to make it, go to South
Go to
Africa.
South Africa.
That's where all the media
Why
is
South
based.
Africa?
Because Viacom is in South
Okay.
Africa.
Uh-huh.
Trace is in South Africa. All the media is in South Africa. Where's DSTV in? South Africa.
So much where does in Nigeria come into the picture now? Because we are seeing which
They come to South Africa. They all come to South
Don't you
Africa.
think those are two competing markets, Niger
No.
and SA?
No.
In terms of like
No.
culture, moving the culture forward in Africa.
Let me put it to you like this.
Music, art, fashion,
No.
sports.
No. Nigeria adopts and adapts. They take from South Africa. They take from Ghana. They take from anywhere. They took high life from Ghana. They slowed down their tempo to a Kwaito tempo and they created Afrobeats. If you listen to...
So you're saying their sound is not original?
It's not. It's taken from South Africa. Because South African music was very big. South African artists have always been big. From Lucky Dube, you know, the biggest, the king of African reggae.
Yep.
You understand? He's the
Used
guy
to-
who gave me the inspiration to
used to listen to him
create,
every
to create
Sunday.
the name Dakar, which is the
Yeah,
king
yeah.
of African rap. I
Okay.
stole that from Lucky Dube because Lucky Dube was the king of African reggae,
reggae.
and he died in 2007.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, or he was killed in 2007, and he's still the best-selling African act of all time. He's still like the
All
most,
genres.
even to this day, he's the most streamed. Like if you go on YouTube,
Across all genres.
African, just like if you go on YouTube, like Lucky Dube's videos, his performances from all over the world. He was signed to Motown. He sold 1 million copies of his album. He was signed to Motown in the States, not Motown South Africa like Teleman. No, Motown in the States. You know, the real Motown, the Barry Gordy Motown.
Yes, sir.
Nonsie, you've been quiet.
Yeah, hey.
Do you have any questions for
Maybe just this one. Ushugas Max paid you your first check for if it makes in 2006.
Paid me late. Paid me. He made me wait. I said, I've got an event, man. Just pay me my money. Like he was supposed to pay me 2,000 rands.
He gave
And
me
then-
600.
And then
600.
at the end, the flyers that I needed to print was 600. So I said, just give me 600.
Okay.
And then he came and so I could pay for the
Wait,
flyers.
go ahead, Nonsie.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, how did that come about?
So what happened is that I was in a taxi and I saw Sprite Hip Hop Tour somewhere in Newtown, and I got off the taxi and I called my little brother from home. I said, bring my USBs because I had beats. I was making beats. You know, I started out by making beats like Kanye West.
Sure.
You know, if you guys watch that Kanye West documentary where Kanye West is
The
there,
new one on Netflix.
yeah, where he's out there playing everyone his beats and then he's playing them his songs, that was me.
Okay.
That was me. I was playing. You send them a beat tape,
And they were ignoring him there.
and then there were like 4 songs of mine, and then there was like 3 beats, and then he's like, "Okay, remove your vocals from those beats." I said, "No, those are my songs." Those songs are not gonna go anywhere, man.
They're not going anywhere.
Okay,
Take
fine.
it or leave it.
Okay, give me that beat again. That one, that's free. I know. I never removed my vocals from my songs. Never. I never.
Take it as a package.
I saved all the good beats for myself. You know, like Kanye said on Kanye, saving all the good beats for himself. Rockefeller only niggas that help.
Right.
My money was standing in the John Paul goatee air, in the John Paul goatee air, cologne fill the air. They say he gorgy, he big headed, you know. So I had that confidence that no, I'll be able to make my own songs. You just take the beats. And so I called my sister to pick me up from school early one day. I was still in high school at the time, and then she picked me up from school, took me to his offices. Took me to Rosebank, where I met him. I gave him the beat disc,
Sugar
and then
Snacks.
and then that was his first ever solo single. And then it ended up as a bonus track on the Ventilation Mixtape Volume 2, as well as his debut album, Sugar Snacks #1, as well as on the Ventilation Street tape.
So, who are the top 5 hip hop artists in SA of all time?
Dead or alive.
Dead or
Pro
alive.
Kid,
Okay. Linda.
Double HP,
Uh-huh.
Flaba,
Flaba.
Pro Kid, Double HP, Flaba.
Quest.
You see the top 5. That's the thing. I need to make sure. Questa, aka
Superman.
Yeah.
Those are your top 5.
Yeah, those are the top 5 of all time.
Okay.
Yeah. If they're not your top 5, then there's something wrong.
Okay. So
No one can out-rap Pro Kid. No one can out-swag
Double HP.
Double HP. Just, you understand?
His
Also
cadence. His cadence.
Flaba
Sure.
is the reason why Squatter Camp was hot. He was hot enough for all the other 6. You know what I mean? He's the one that
Yeah,
put them
yeah.
on. When I say Squatter,
the
the rest
face
shut
of
the
the
fuck up. Only my
demonstration.
squad say camp, right? Squatter, camp.
Yeah.
After he died, the group is dead.
Sure.
You understand? So he was the best rapper in the group. You can ask all of the ones that are
Flaba.
remaining, that are still alive.
Sure.
And the 2 founding members of Squatter Camp, the guys who actually were the guys who set up the group, are both dead. Nish and Flava. They went to school together at John O.
Rest his soul, man.
Rest both of their souls. Questa, obviously, you know, he's got the 2 top best-selling singles in South African music history, which is Nyazifela Ngawe and Good. Yeah.
Okay.
So the one is 100 and something times platinum, Nyazifela Ngawe. The other one's 50 something times platinum.
Ben
Keenan, that's why he's after Questa.
Questa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he's got the next best-selling hip-hop songs.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's the best-selling songs are Nyazifela Ngawe, ne? Second best-selling song is Ngud, and then the third best-selling song is Malaika Justin.
Okay. Right. So you come from a background of a songwriter, as a songwriter as well. You know, and there's a lot of songs that have been accredited to you that you played a part in writing. You know, some of them, Mfazwe Paper, Kid X. Right, take that, Questa, Good, Questa, Wale, Questa, Photo Spirit.
I didn't write on that one.
You didn't write on that one? What are some of the songs that you've written that you've not been credited for, or that people do not know that you were part of the writing of those songs? Right, so you were clarifying about Orchard and so forth.
Yeah, so it was so fit at a certain point in time because when I was founding it with a friend of mine called Elijah, but then we went our separate ways. So it's just Urbantainment.
Okay.
So he brought the So Fit, and then I brought Urbantainment.
Okay.
Because instead of entertainment, I was like, no, this is urban entertainment, and you know, this was before there was an Afrotainment, I think. And
Yeah.
Afro.
Here's a Afrotainment.
so yeah, so Urbantainment is my record label.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still up and running?
Yeah. Come on. I mean, like, you know, we've got the best-selling songs in South African music history.
How many artists are signed to it right now?
I've never ever had an artist signed.
Okay.
We've licensed music.
Okay.
We've produced music. Yeah.
Just management.
No, just record label.
So
it's a completely
license-
different thing.
Okay.
Artist management is about taking a percentage of, like, you know, brand deals,
Right.
bookings and stuff like that. Record label is about owning the music, the master.
The masters.
You understand?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we do. So Orchard is the biggest distributor in the world by market share. They just
Is it affiliated with Sony Music?
wholly owned by Sony. Sony bought it 7 years ago.
Okay.
And now Sony has also bought AWOL, which is another distribution, which was founded. It was part of Cobalt,
Okay.
and now AWOL is now within Orchard.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's an even bigger distributor.
So Nota is famous for being Questa's manager. Do you
No, is incorrectly.
incorrect? I was
No,
getting you.
but no, I'm not. I'm the founder of the record label that released Dakar, Dakar 2, and the subsequent singles up until Njandi.
Okay, so how do you
That's it.
feel when people are still associating you as Questa's ex-manager? Like, who is Nota?
Well, I mean, people are misinformed. It doesn't reduce you know,
Your worth.
yeah, like, you know, people will be misinformed, and that's the thing, is that when I get the platform or get the chance to speak, then I get to correct them,
Yeah.
you know, and I've corrected them, and I keep having to correct them, but, you know, obviously that is a large part of the work that I've done, you know, and it's legendary work, you know, it's historic, like, you know, a record breaking,
Yeah.
and, you know, so I'm proud.
It is good work. So
You know, it's just that obviously the people don't understand how the business works, and that's why they say, but why don't these kids? The information is out there on the internet. Misinformation is out there on the internet.
yeah.
Don't go to the internet. Ask me.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
Don't go to the ask not.
Don't go to the blogs. Or
But
just
how
ask
do
me.
they reach out because they're no longer on social media?
No, I will have a social media manager
Okay.
that will post this link of this thing, and then they'll watch and they'll get the knowledge.
They'll get the information,
You know
not
what I
the
mean?
misinformation.
Exactly.
Right.
Don't listen to anybody else.
Right. So, you know, something that's become synonymous with, you know, when your name, whenever your name's mentioned, is quote unquote beefs, you know, that get developed in the industry with your, you know, with your industry mates. For example, you know,
Who?
I'm getting there.
Yeah. It's not. The thing is that you guys call it beefs. I just call it people who are jealous of
Okay.
the fact that I know more than them. I've sold more than them.
Uh-huh. I'll talk about Stogie T, for example.
How many records has he
There
sold?
was okay.
How many records
I
has
don't
he
have
sold?
the numbers.
Let's not talk about him. Next one.
Issue.
I'm just saying. How many records has he
Casper.
sold? The biggest song Casper has ever had in his career, I put him on that song.
Which song?
His mother's favorite. It's good.
Good.
Who put him on that song? I put him on that song.
So you vouched for Casper to be on Good.
How? Because I knew what it would do for business purposes. Because
So who
we have
is Leo
Nguni-
Casper?
Yes, we have a
And
Nguni
put him on
rapper.
that track.
Yes. I even mixed his vocals. The reason why you've never heard Casper's verse sound as clean as you've heard it on Good, because I sat there and I placed every single thing,
Arranged.
every single thing, 14 different channels of that thing, every single ad lib. I sat there for hours and hours and hours and hours. Everything. You understand? Every sound. It sounds so crisp. You listen to that song today, it's like, ay. I've never heard Casper sound that good.
So without you, Casper doesn't get those numbers on Good.
He doesn't. He hasn't.
Sure.
He doesn't have a
He
song
should.
bigger than Good. You know? He doesn't. That's the fact of the matter. It's like an unequivocal fact.
That song with Buhle Watin.
No. Come on.
That's a
Don't be
big song.
don't be done by recency. That song is a recent song.
Right.
To this day, he doesn't have a song bigger than Good. He doesn't have a song
You
that sold over 1 million copies.
you offered Casper and AKA 1 million if they did a joint project.
The offer's still there.
The offer is still there.
It's still on the table.
What are you trying to achieve with that?
Number one, I'm trying to say that
$1 million rand.
Million
rands
million
each.
rands each.
Yeah,
He gives Casper $1 million, Super Mega $1 million,
Yeah.
collaborative joint,
collaborative album.
collaborative album.
Yeah.
What's the purpose behind
The
that?
purpose behind that is to say we don't need to be beefing, because the beefs are stopping the collaboration that needs to be happening to taking the culture forward. We had Casper on Good. We had AKA on day ones. You understand? The only person who did not jump onto Dakar 2 was KO. He was the only person who was like, I don't want to be whatever. And now all of a sudden he's doing every feature with every Tom, Dick, and Harry because he fell on hard times.
Wow.
Are you saying KO is struggling right now?
I'm just saying, like, since Skanda Republic, that was it. That was it. Ever since then, it's been, you know, it's Skanda World, the label. Those artists will never get anywhere. Any of them. All of them. You can name all of them. They'll never get anywhere. You understand? They will never get anywhere. Why?
Sure.
Because Yana, he's not willing to put himself on the back seat and become an executive like me.
And let others thrive.
And actually push the others. Not let others thrive. You know?
And push others.
KO sabotaged Kid X's first release. 3/4 pace. It was supposed to be an album. I was
Ended
there
up
when he
being
was
a
recording. Ended up being a mixtape. Did all those numbers and everything else. They didn't even push it. They didn't even put money behind it and everything else. You know what I mean? And then what happened? MT1 with April that year.
Was that the same setup?
Same year. Same summer nomination.
Was that the same setup though under Cash Time Records?
I'm saying that was Cash Time Live.
Cash Time Live.
Yeah, that was Cash Time Live. But they didn't want to support Kid X's project. Why? because he didn't want to sound exactly like KO. He wanted to take a different. And if he sounded exactly like KO, it wouldn't have worked.
It wasn't gonna
You
sell.
can't make another Skanda Republic. Skanda Republic is the quintessential.
Why?
Like that album on its own, like you can't beat it, you can't defeat it. You know, Skanda Republic is a classic album. Like Mission Statement is the only track that's unnecessary there.
You think so?
Like sonically, it's
Shouldn't
on a
have been
different
there.
sound. It's on a different sound palette. But I understand why he put it there because he already shot a video for it and everything else. But that was before he thought, oh, let's hop onto this more Kwaito-esque sound. You know, it was a merger between trap and Kwaito. So you look at an album like Levels. Levels, Skanda Republic, right? They were released in the same
Right
year.
about the same time.
They were released in the same year. Yeah, one was released in November, the other one was released in July, right? You take those 11 tracks. Then you take Dakar 2,
Right.
Disc 1, 11 tracks.
Disc
Disc
2,
2, 11 tracks. So basically, as a producer, I was like, I'm going to beat both of these guys with this
one
album.
project.
Yeah.
Of which you did.
Of which you did. So did you you produced Dakar?
Yeah.
All of it.
All of them. Dakar, everything. I'm the producer. I'm not the beat maker. I'm
are
the
the
producer.
Okay, so
I put together everything. I hired all the people. I got all the features. I arranged the track ordering, everything.
Okay, so in a minute, summarize the issue with Makwa.
There's no issue with Makwa. He was on antidepressants. He was being lied to by people. They were telling him all these things. But if you listen to him speak in his interviews, like, no, this guy hooked up 60,000 rands for me when I had nothing. And they're like, okay. And then, why are you
Where's the
saying all
issue?
these bad things about him? Nah, he was doing that too, whatever. And I was like, oh, did you have to pay him back for that money? No, I didn't have to pay him back. Why? Because he was about to have a baby. Rap life had collapsed. He had nowhere to go. I hooked him up with a job. And then people were trying to convince him against me.
So all the money that was supposed to go to Makwa from your end went to Makwa.
I never, from my end, there was no money that was supposed to go to Makwa. There's no money that I'm supposed to pay him.
Right.
He was paid for his production work. He was paid everything. He wanted.
And you oversaw that.
We overpaid it. In fact, paid him in advance. In fact, we owed him a certain amount of money and he said, okay, fine, you're going to continue producing. What we'll get you is a car. He wanted a car, a BMW, a 3 Series, right? And he got the 3 Series. And so which means that it was, and it was the whole entire payment, right, of that car was supposed to cover all the work that he's supposed to do up until March 2020.
And all of this was on paper.
He got it in 2018. March 2020 was when Rap Life collapsed. So up until March 2020, he'd been paid everything, and all the work he had done, he had been paid for. He got paid. When Spirit got a sync deal, he got paid a couple 100,000 rands. When Vurvai got a sync deal, he got paid another couple 100,000 rands. He's been paid millions of rands that I never got a cent from.
Till this day.
Why would I get a cent from his money?
In closing, what's your take on the Dudula operations happening in South Africa?
So, it's funny how we got into the end of the interview before we got here, because this is, what we should have started the interview with. We should
We
have
saved the best for last.
and Nhlamulo is a good friend of mine. What I think,
Soweto Parliament.
yeah, is a good friend of mine. So what I think is very unfair is the characterization of South Africa as a country where we should be now sharing resources with the whole of Southern Africa.
You think that's unfair?
It's a completely unfair characterization.
Okay.
Because South Africa, the history that we speak of. Our black people come from a repressive history where they were denied opportunity.
Right. Yeah.
There's not even enough opportunities for black South Africans.
Okay.
So ordinarily, when South Africa's economy, the fact that it was constructed off of the backs of slave labor that was imported to the mines from Malawi, from Mozambique, and all this. Stimela, Zihamba, Ngama, Lahle, Shumasiger. Basically talking about this migrant labor system, right? So the disposition of land, disposition. Zimbabwe. You understand? All those countries. So it's been happening. White people have used Southern Africans as slave labor to build South Africa's economy. Operation Dudula is saying, my African brothers from Zimbabwe, we will not allow you to be used as slaves in this country to build this economy.
Okay.
Right? My brothers from Malawi, we will not allow you to be used as slaves to build this economy. My brothers from Mozambique, we will not allow you to be used as slaves. We cannot see our black brothers being used as slaves. Because what is happening is that there are people who are less educated than you, who have had less exposure to opportunities than you, because the freedom in their country came much later than yours.
Right.
Right? So they've been exposed to less opportunities. They will not be able to understand the fact that we are an economy that is basically established off of slave labor. So what will happen is that because of their culture of repressiveness and the culture of violence, we've got a very violent culture in South Africa. The only way for people to get their political ideas out there was through violence. The only way for people to get what they deserve, never mind what they're entitled to, never mind what is good, never mind what would make them prosper, is through violence.
Right.
And that's why the crime in South Africa is so violent, much more than any other country in Southern Africa. Right? So we will not be able to stop those of us who have had less exposure to the knowledge of how this economy was constructed from acting violently. And we will not be able to negotiate with those people who own the capital if our brothers from the neighboring countries are submitting themselves to slave labor just because they want to save themselves.
Okay, but quick question then.
And not actually understand what is actually at play.
So
what should be happening right now is that our brothers from, especially here, this side of Zimbabwe, should be saying, guys, we've got a problem in this country with our political system.
In Zimbabwe.
In Zimbabwe. Let us come to South Africa so that we can gather resources to fight the political situation in Zimbabwe. Not let us go to South Africa so that we can just feed ourselves and we can say, hey, hi, you go be at Zimbabwe. Hey, Zimbabwe is getting worse and worse and worse. Yes, it's just worse and worse. It's just, we thought after the old man is gone, maybe things will get better, but the crocodile is just chomping everything. You understand?
Yeah.
So, but my quick question, Nota, if you
don't watch out, the crocodile will eat the sun. And it'll be all in darkness.
Listen, in essence, if you're saying Operation Dudula is actually saving our fellow Southern Africans from this slave apparatus that is there, why is it then that the message that we get from here is we get South Africans saying you're taking our jobs that should be ours? So are you saying that slavery machine?
You are taking low-skilled. Hold on. They are saying you are taking low-skilled entry-level jobs. When I was a kid, right, and I was a teenager.
They're part of the slave.
Wait. I just want to explain something to you. When I was a teenager, right, I was born in the 90s, year 2000, right?
Yeah.
I could go to any restaurant with my CV and say I go to high school, and they gave me a temp job on weekends. I could be a waiter at a restaurant.
Right.
Right now, you go to any restaurant in Sandton, in South Africa, you find 30, 40-year-olds, Zimbabwean men and women.
Yes.
Who should not be at those entry-level jobs. My sister, when she was going to school to make extra pocket money, she was working in retail. What is happening now is that you get old people who've been waiters for 10 years, 20 years. There's no way. Those jobs of waiting is jobs that are for students. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Now, when we come to negotiating what is rightfully ours as black people together, we need to help each other. We cannot, knowing that serving myself is going to cause harm to many other people and make them see me as an enemy. Because instead of waiting for the opportunity, right, to be there for everyone, to be a meritocratic, the system to be meritocratic, I am now, because a meritocracy is like the best people are the ones who get ahead and everything else, right? I am going to subject myself to this corrupt system which only feeds the few elite. You understand? I'm going to game this system instead of overturning this system. So Operation Dudula is trying to overturn the system. So now the problem is
so you're a proponent of Operation Dudula?
No, I support Operation Dudula.
Do you support the SA First movement?
No. Okay. I don't support, because there's a difference. Operation Dudula is not going out there enacting violence. Operation Dudula is not doing what EFF is doing. What EFF is doing is going out there to restaurants saying, hey, let's see
how many Zimbabweans do you have on your payroll?
You understand? Operation Dudula never did that. Operation Dudula handed memorandums There's a difference between handing a memorandum and then calling the owner out and say, show us
payroll.
how many undocumented people you've got here.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? There's a complete difference, and that difference, right, is not being articulated by the media, because the media want to keep us fighting amongst each other as blacks so that the whites can continue to benefit and benefit and benefit and benefit. At the end of the day, the guys who own the biggest sugar company in Southern Africa, Hewlett-Packard, is now these Zimbabwean rich white boys.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The farms are owned by the whites in Zimbabwe. Everything. The other day I was at a hotel and I was standing by the doorway. Some white man comes, he speaks to another Zimbabwean brother and says, "Hey boy, I'm trying to get through." And he laughs, haha, it isn't a joke. You guys here, it's cool for you. Me, I knocked that motherfucker out in my country. But I'm not in my country, so, you know, I just had to play cool and stay calm. At the same time, you look at what has happened, the violence that has been meted out against the Ndebeles, Kukarawundi, the trauma that they still have. You understand? And the fact that they're still repressed. The fact that you go to Holiday Inn, all the cleaners and Ndebele, the management staff and everyone else is Shona.
In Baloyi.
You understand what I'm saying? They are being denied opportunities because of tribalism.
Yeah.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And what is there to stop that? What we should be having is our brothers who are here, who are suffering from the tribalism that is keeping them down, right? And making sure that all the resources are only shared amongst the Shona elite, the Shona elite, the Shona elite. Because there's lots of Shonas, and then there's the Shona elite. You understand?
Right.
The resources are being kept amongst them, right? And who also has the monopoly on violence? The Shona elite. The state is the Shona elite. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And they're out there peddling disinformation about people like Operation Dudula and everything else, right? And then pairing them up with people who have got tribalistic tendencies and whatever, and have got violent intentions. At the end of the day, had it not been for Operation Dudula, the savages, the violent ones, would be meeting out the violence. What Operation Dudula has done is that we hear you. We accept your frustrations. We're giving you a platform to actually set out your demands properly, in a non-violent manner. And that is something that especially people from here should be supporting, because if we support that, all of us unilaterally, then we can overthrow, we can overthrow these repressive governments of the ANC.
And ZANU-PF.
The ANC. I mean, I'm going to speak about the one in my country.
In our country, ZANU-PF.
I've got family in this country. I will not say anything negative about ZANU-PF.
You have to be careful. Because
I can speak about ANC as much as you want. I can tell you everything about ANC.
because you guys have freedom of speech. Yeah?
You understand what I'm saying? And I also can't forget that.
Yeah.
That's something that my brothers from across the Limpopo River do not have.
Right.
Yeah.
You understand? They don't have that same freedom of speech, right? So we've got the freedom of speech. I also was harassed by the same thugs, cops, sent thugs, Black Coffee and Zwandile Masina, sent thugs to come and harass me and mutilate me in my own home.
When was that?
When I was arrested by the cops, it's on social media and everything else. You understand? Those cops, I felt like I was in Zimbabwe at that point in time. You understand? I was detained without trial.
Yeah.
You understand? I was charged with reckless driving after going to the garage in my own complex.
Yeah.
How can I be driving recklessly in my own complex, getting sugar so that I can quickly make coffee, which I want to still be hot because the garage is right around the corner, so I can also give my wife the car so she can go to work. You understand what I'm saying? So the same things that you guys may be crying about, we are experiencing them in South Africa, except in South Africa, Mina, I could call my lawyer, right? And I could say, please, and I will be out in a couple of hours. You understand? Because I have means. But had they got another South African, had they got an undocumented Zimbabwean in South Africa, he'd be treated just the same way the people who are being brutalized here, you know what I mean, for being defectors of the political hegemony that
Being created here.
that was handed over by, what is his name? Ian
Smith.
ANC.
It was handed over. It wasn't surrendered, it wasn't defeated, it was just handed over, and then they said, okay, this is very few resources, keep them amongst your families.
Among your cronies.
And amongst your cronies. And then the old man made the mistake of thinking that he could put his wife in front of the crocodile. Zakhala. Babiza Masocha was in China to speak to the army here, and then the old man had to make apology speeches, and then we never heard from him again until his dying day.
Right.
So in closing, what do you think is the solution to this tribalism issue between the Shona people and the Ndebele people?
The only way to help the Ndebele people is through South Africa with its freedom of speech. Come to South Africa. Get the resources that you need to fight for your country. Don't come to South Africa so that you can enjoy South Africa. And you can see how far you can get in your life. Because at the end of the day, you've got more family that you leave behind. And there's no way that you can save all of them by just coming to South Africa and taking care of yourself. We need to change the system. So we need to overthrow the ANC and all its
surrogates.
Yes. We need to overthrow them, all of them. Even in Namibia. We need to overthrow them. All of them. All of them. Us as the youth, we need to come together as the Southern African youth. We cannot be ruled by our grandparents until the grave, because those ones, they think that they're entitled to lead until they die. They want to die at the helm. They want to lead in their senility. They want to be senile leaders. You know, they are vindictive. They are manipulative. They are corrupt beyond the core, and they've been witnesses of such atrocities that the only way to protect themselves is to remain in power. Because should they lose power, the ghosts of Christmas past will come back to haunt them. You know?
Yes, yeah.
Nonsie, do you have any questions? Last question?
No, I don't really have any question, but just to add on what you're saying about our brothers and sisters in South Africa just being enslaved and whatnot. I mean, myself,
all of us, even Black South Africans are under slave labor.
Yeah, but
you understand?
Just to speak on what you say about when South Africans are saying they want to be put first, and that our, especially undocumented Zimbabweans that are in South Africa, they're taking jobs that, like you said, are meant to be for entry-level people that are going to the corporate world.
Sorry.
And you know, myself, I was actually a waitress at Ocean Basket, so it actually it brought many memories back. I was undocumented. I was a waitress.
And how were you treated?
Badly.
Why? Because you're undocumented,
Exactly.
you're unprotected.
Exactly.
So who would want that situation for my own black sisters?
I don't.
You can't unionize, you can't protect yourself, you have to be subjected to whatever treatments you are given. And guess what happens? Ocean Basket makes money, makes profits, and they don't look. People don't say, hey, that's a sweatshop.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
And the worst
thing.
part is, with us not being even given like basic salary, you're just being paid on tips, right? And then, even on that, you're not supposed to ask for tips. Somebody's going to tip you if they feel like it. If they don't feel like it, you can't ask. So basically, you're just working for free and hope that someone will just fulfill for you whatever.
You understand what I'm saying? Even now, 100,000 teachers in Zimbabwe have just been released. Why? Because they're demanding, decent pay. They're being paid $200 per month. Okay, but they were they increased it by $25 from $175 right to $200, which is 3,000 rands per month.
Yeah.
You know what? The first thing I did when I got to Zimbabwe, I withdrew $200 just for my 2 days here, just for spending money. I'm thinking to myself, just when I watch the news, just for amenities here. You understand what I'm saying? Just to buy airtime and everything. So as a teacher, you're getting paid that little. You understand? That's why the desperation is at the level where people can cross a river and swim with crocodiles. Waters. You understand? Yeah. And for me, I've got a lot of empathy because I understand the desperation that it takes to stand in the streets and beg for money, because that's where you are stripped of all your dignity. You are saying, I have no use in this world. Please pity me and show mercy upon me, and then give me whatever it is that can at least help me get from this situation of hunger to a meal. No, not to better, to a meal. Just my next meal. I just want to get to my next meal. That's it. Can you assist me in getting to my next meal? And you wake up each and every single day in the streets looking for a meal. It's trying to scrounge around whatever sense can be given to you for a meal. And for us, that is a situation that we do not want to see our brothers in. If it was white people from Zimbabwe who were working in the thingamajigs and everything else, we wouldn't even tip them. even if they paid only, they wouldn't even tip them. We'd make sure that they suffer, right? But it's our own brothers. We cannot sit back and watch, and we cannot sit back and watch our brothers who are motivated by desperation, right? And don't know how to do better for themselves, and then sit and say, hey, we can't intervene because we're trying to assist our brothers. We're not assisting our brothers at all. Because if we do not change that political system that actually puts them in that situation,
It's going to go unchecked.
and the only reason that political system is continuing is because there are people who own the means of production who are benefiting.
Gotcha.
In closing, Jaha, do you have any questions?
Yeah, just in closing, to end it on a lighter
On a
note.
lighter note, yeah.
Just gonna play a quick round of kill one, save one. Two
Yeah.
names, you kill one, you save one.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Questa Marco.
Kill one, save one.
You can kill both, you can save both.
Save both.
Save both.
Yeah, they need each other.
Yeah, peaceful Nota.
No, they need each other.
Peaceful Nota.
They need
Okay.
each other.
Casper, aka.
I'd save both.
Save both.
Yeah.
They also need each other.
We needed them.
We need them.
We needed them.
Jaha.
Yeah, next one.
Do you think? But they're off their prime, both of them. I think
It's fine.
musically.
They served their purpose when
Okay.
when it was being
It's time
served.
to pass the torch.
I mean, the torch has been taken from them.
Okay. KO Questa.
KO Questa. Why not KO Kidex?
Okay, KO Kidex.
KO. Can
Kill
go.
KO.
Kill KO.
Save Kidex.
Yeah.
Kidex.
Yeah.
He sabotaged the project. Yeah, Kidex.
I'll never forgive him for that.
Okay.
Even if
last
Kidex forgives him, I won't.
one. Last one.
God forgives, I don't.
Last one. Aries, Nasty C. Ziyakhala ke manje.
Kill both.
Ah.
This has been another episode of the ByoPodcast.
Kill both, kill both.
Ingxoxo99.
Kill both to save Blackie.
Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Goodbye.
Danko.
Bye.